Hello everybody and welcome back to yet another color changer edit video. These videos tend to do pretty well and I definitely have a fun time coming up with the different ideas for color changers to edit, and of course doing them is a blast as well. This time around we have 15 more. I believe in the past we did 13 and 13, then the third version was 15, and now we have another 15. So at this point, I'm not just going to call it like 15 color changer edits or whatever. I think we're just going to make this a series. So this is technically going to be the fourth little part. I don't have any more lined up, but definitely I will do. I'll definitely be doing more in the future, just when I have some free time to be messing around on Photoshop, which is how I make these. Without further ado, let's get started. First off, got Cruz Ramirez. Now, something I realized when I was looking for different cars to, edit, is that we've never gotten a color changer of Cruz Ramirez just by herself. We've gotten the Dynaco Cruz Ramirez, of course. Gotten a couple different versions of that, but we've never actually just gotten straight up plain old Cruz Ramirez. So I figured we might as well just do that. So she's just her plain old yellow, and it goes to a red to kind of match the Rusty's vibe that she's got going on. Really surprising. I actually had never kind of noticed that they've completely ignored a Cruz color changer, and the ones that they've done of her in the past, like the orange and the orange and the red, just look really bad on the color changers that they've done so far. So this one, hopefully, it'll look really good, even though it's not a real thing. Second up, we got my absolute favorite car ever, Greenlight. If you're unfamiliar with who Greenlight is, that is the name of a car that appears in Radiator Springs during the during the end credit scene. His name actually isn't Grant. He doesn't have a name. He doesn't have any official name. That is the name that I came up with for him, and I've seen other people use it as well, which makes me very, very happy. But he's basically like a modern version day of Edwin Cranks. He is a core copper model. He's got like those Maryland style wheels, and he's talking to another truck. It's basically a carbon copy of the flashback scene where Edwin Cranks is talking to like a red old car. Flash forward to the present day scene. Greenlight is the exact same color, exact same decals as Edwin, and he's talking to a red pickup truck who has the same decals as that other car. So that is an edit I made of Grant a little while ago. I put him in the video with, he was in the video with the custom mainline from last October, I believe. I actually do have a custom of Grant Greenlight, which I reviewed way back in, I believe, 2020. And I might have to review him again just because he's such a cool car and it's such a unique custom. But anyways, he's going to go from that very nice looking green to a cool looking teal, which I think matches the colors of the channel pretty perfectly for a car that I adore. Next up, we got Fabrizio. He is a Chase, yes, but the Chase is it really the same character if it's a color changer? I don't know why I asked that. It is. But we're just going to ignore those rules, since Mattel has kind of ignored those rules recently. You can't even really see his eyes. You can kind of see him through his little black shield, I guess, for his eyes. And he's going to go from that kind of like sunset orange yellow color to kind of like a lavender purple. Looks really, really nice. I guess something I maybe would look into doing is doing just a full version of this where I don't change any of the colors back. Because to kind of demonstrate that it's a color changer, I erase the color change for about half of the car to make it look like you've actually dipped half of it into the water and half of it is not. But maybe it'll look even cooler if he was fully purple. Next up, you got some cars on the road action. You have the West Philanopus. Of course, he is just pretty much, since it's like an animal. It's just kind of like a yellow little VW bus. Front of him will be red, so kind of similar to Cruz Ramirez, red and yellow. I think it looks pretty good. The Quadritorquosaur, the other dinosaur that we have seen as I guess it was the baby Quadritorquosaur, the other color changer dinosaur that we've seen, went from, of course, the yellow to kind of like an orange. This time we got the yellow kind of going to a red. And Really like the way this edit turned out. Photoshop was able to like identify that the dirt or rust or whatever wasn't actually meant to be changed, so it didn't, which looks really, really nice. Next up, I really like this one. This is Holiday Hotshot McQueen, going from that kind of metallic red color to a metallic green. Now I know that I don't believe that technology technically exists yet, or maybe it does, it probably does, but Mattel they don't have the funds or experience or materials to be doing it, to have a metallic color changer. But in this world, this reality, we're doing that. So you got the Christmas colors, of course, the green lightning bolt on the side, the red rims. So you got, that metallic red. Now it's a metallic kind of Christmas green. Here we got Kirby Gremlin, going from that kind of, I don't know what shade of purple you'd call it. It's a pretty plain purple, but it's definitely not like the exact purple you would think of when you hear the word purple. I don't really know how to describe it, but anyways, he'll go from that purple to just kind of like a brown. We see plenty of brown gremlins in Cars 2. Don't think we actually haven't gotten any. We did get Toga Gremlin, but he's kind of like a dark maroonish red color. Maybe he's got some brown on him. But apart from that, no brown gremlins, so this can kind of act as a little placeholder. Then we got Mario Andretti, going from that kind of tealish, awesome looking teal color to a kind of, I guess you could say like an orangish red. He's got, of course, this is the paint scheme modeled after his Daytona 500 win back in, I believe, like 1969, 67, sometime in the 60s. And I wanted to have the colors match the colors on the car, so of course the teal is going to go to like the red that you kind of see in the number, and kind of where his like name would be on the roof bar or whatever, as well as the 427 CI. Then you got Adam Rodriguez. He, of course, another on-the-road diecast. He is the red, I guess you could say, or the red race fire and rescue truck. It says it right there. That appears in the Trucks episode of Cars on the Road. And, well, I figured that the blue would look really nice on him, and I think it does. Going from that kind of fire truck red to a blue, which kind of matches that logo on his side. Really fits him, I think, and overall looks pretty sick. Then you have another Rodriguez, this in Manny Rodriguez, kind of a forlorn release from 2015. And he is just kind of like this plain old Ford sedan that appeared in the Cars 2 scene at the, I guess you could say, the Palace, kind of outside the Palace. And he'll go from his kind of blue, his darker blue, to just kind of like a plain old green, kind of lets you invent this new car for yourself. Headlights and the front logo decal are still a little bit greener than I'd like. I guess I maybe missed over those when I was combing through what to change and what not to change. A little bit on the front window as well as a little greener than I'd like. But overall, this would be a pretty cool release to see. Then we get into the 2-packs. In the past, I've had two 2-packs for video. This time, I figured I'd do 3. This one involves Superfly, going from blue to orange, and Liability, going from green to purple. I did want to make Liability go from purple to green, because there's just more purple on Liability, so I wanted to see more green. But when I tried to change the colors in Photoshop, just because of all the other purple decals on Liability, I couldn't really do it. So I decided to make the green be able to go to purple, and you can see the full result of that there. There's no green left. There's no half and half here. It's just full purple, which I think actually looks pretty good. Then for Superfly, of course, Superfly got the blue you can kind of see in the back, and that usually would continue on the front hood, front eyes. But in this scenario, it's just kind of orange, which kind of random color, but I think it worked out pretty well. There's a close-up of a Superfly, and there is a close-up of a Liability. Next up, you've got a 2-pack. Usually I like to throw in a Piston Cup 2-pack. This time around, it is Johnny Blamer and a Winford, Bradford, Rutherford, Johnny going from the green to a black, and Winford going from a yellow to blue. I did try to make Johnny go from the green to the blue that you see on the bottom half of him to kind of match that factory custom, which I reviewed a few weeks ago. I just couldn't get the colors to match, so I figured making him go full black would actually look pretty cool. And it actually inspired me to make another video, which will be coming out very, very soon. And Winford, of course, tried to get that blue to match the RPM colors. You can see it did a pretty good job. The glare looks a little funky up towards the front, but overall, it gets the point across pretty well. There's a close-up of Johnny. Love that picture of him. And once again, just love the way the black looks, and it's definitely inspired a good idea of mine for a video. And there's a close-up of Winford. One thing that I haven't really pointed out in any of these videos is that the kind of underside of the car, which you can kind of see if you look at the front wheel of Winford here, you can see the yellow is still there, or the yellow like of the kind of like the inside of the car is still there, and that is because on the actual color changers, I don't know if that part changes, and I don't believe it. On some cars it might, on some cars it doesn't, but just because I figured like, oh, that's just kind of like the body of the car that doesn't have the color changing paint or whatever it is on it. I was just gonna kind of leave it as, yellow, which maybe I'll change that in the future, but I was kind of figured I would talk about that. Then for the last two-pack of the video, last cars of the video, and probably my personal favorite, we've got Tabu going from that red to a bright teal, almost like aqua color, and Van Sand going from green to red. Absolutely love both of these cars as just their plain die casts, and Tabu especially here. I think that light like aqua color looks really, really good on him. Might even be better than the original red, even though the original red is still very, very good looking. And Van Sand, I don't know why, I don't know what attracts me towards Van Sand. I just always thought he was a good looking car, good looking die cast really. The green, even though it's pretty similar to Van, I think I like Van Sand better. As I mentioned, green, this looks perfect, expression, great. Overall, it's just a cool background car in the episode. There you got Tabu close up. Once again, love that. There is a car that kind of looks like him that I mentioned in the custom mainline video. I forgot what I named that car, but he's got like the same model. He's got a different spoiler, and he's got a somewhat similar blue color, but the white stripe was actually like yellow. It's just overall really cool looking car. And then, of course, Van Sand. Very, very neat looking indeed. And once again, that'll do it for yet another color changer edit video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.